welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Televiziya. With your host, İlham, with the most important events of the day. On October 5th, President İlham gave an interview to Turkish TRT Haber TV channel.
In an interview with TRT Haber channel, President İlham stressed that the Azerbaijani army had liberated many settlements, a city and several villages from occupation, that fierce fighting was taking place in various directions, and that our army would successfully fulfill its mission and restore Azerbaijan's territorial integrity. In response to a question based on your past experience, do you think that other countries' ceasefire calls will work this time? The President of Azerbaijan said that we are launching a counter-offensive and liberating our lands with strengths of the Azerbaijani soldier. Therefore, the issue of restoring the ceasefire simply cannot be discussed. We have requirements. We must be given very serious guarantees. International mediators must confirm these guarantees to us. At the same time, we must be given a schedule for Armenia's withdrawal from the occupied territories. A year ago, the Prime Minister of Armenia, who said Karabakh is Armenia, should apologize to the people of Azerbaijan and say that Karabakh is not Armenia. President İlham noted that we are fighting only against the Armenian occupational army. We have never fought against the civilian population. The other said that we had no military targets in Armenia. However, today, Armenia is firing on the cities and regions of Azerbaijan. The source of every strike is a legitimate target for us. We will have to hit these targets, said President İlham, noting that Armenia wants to provoke Azerbaijan. Let them tell the whole world that Azerbaijan is attacking Armenia. Let's save Armenia. In the interview, President İlham thanked our Turkish brothers, especially President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, on behalf of himself and the Azerbaijani people, for their support to Azerbaijan from the very first hours. Answering a question on the attitude of the President of France, a member of the OSCE Minsk group, the other said that his baseless statements that Azerbaijan brought terrorists to the region together with Turkey, as well as Azerbaijan wants to conquer Nagorno-Karabakh and we will not allow it, are unacceptable. That is why France puts itself outside of the OSCE Minsk group, and we cannot remain silent. The other side spoke about the existence of very serious political problems inside Armenia and the serious blows to democracy. In response to a question, what was your late father's will to you regarding Nagorno-Karabakh, President İlham said that the path of the great leader is the path of light for him, and it is his duty to continue this policy, both as the son of a great personality and as a president, saying that there was strong pressure on Heydar Aliyev to grant independence to Nagorno-Karabakh and snatch those lands from Azerbaijan. The other state stressed that the great leader withstood the pressure and did not sign any document contrary to the interests of the Azerbaijani people. At the end of the interview, President İlham reiterated that Nagorno-Karabakh was our land and Azerbaijan's territorial integrity must be ensured. I will never allow the establishment of a second Armenian state in the historical lands of Azerbaijan. We will use all opportunities to restore our territorial integrity, the other said, noting that we're close to this goal.
President İlham posted other good news. The head of state shared a post on his Twitter account stating that Azerbaijan army liberated Şihalı Ağalı, Sarıcalı, Mezra villages of Jabrayil region and several strategic elevations in different directions. The successful operation of our heroic army continues. Karabakh is Azerbaijan. These are commemorative, glorious days that will permanently go down in the Azerbaijani history. Under the leadership of the Supreme Commander-in-Chief, the Azerbaijani soldier is writing and creating history. Today, Azerbaijan is not only ensuring its territory, but restoring justice.
Footages from our lands liberated from the enemy one way or another resemble the 19th when our lands were occupied. However, there is a critical difference. If the former was violation of justice, what is happening now is restoration of justice. Under the leadership of the Supreme Commander-in-Chief, an Azerbaijani soldier fulfills this historic mission with honor and courage. President İlham stated that on the battlefield our soldiers and officers show heroism, inflict crushing blows on the enemy, put the enemy in its place, drive the enemy out of our lands at the cost of their lives. This glorious mission will find its worthy place in history. Today we are writing a new history of our people and state, a glorious history. We are restoring historical justice today because the land of Karabakh is our ancient historical land. Azerbaijan has always been demonstrating commitment to peaceful negotiations, was holding a constructive position. However, it's impossible to wait for a practical application of resolutions that remained on paper, results of cold-blooded mediators' search for the golden mean for eternity. The Azerbaijani soldier is driving away the occupant who turned fascism into a state policy and who intends to conquer new territories. Supreme Commander-in-Chief said now we have shown who is who. We're driving them away like dogs. Azerbaijani soldiers drive them away like dogs. The Azerbaijani flag is being raised in the occupied territories. And the fate is not going to change just because Pashinyan is hysterically banging on all doors. The difference is that the Armenian Prime Minister calls first, and then they call to the President of Azerbaijan. Pashinyan calls one world leader a day, every day. I did not call anyone, I did not call any world leader. I had contacts and they called me. There's no world leader left who he would not call, beg, send an emissary, implore, and kneel down, expressed the head of state. Armenian Prime Minister, who raised his hands to dance in Shusha in Jadırdazu, can now raise them to submit. There are about 120 kilometers between Jebral and Shushar, a 2-hour road at best. For fighters, though, these are mere minutes.
First Vice President of Azerbaijan, Mehriban Aliyeva, shared a post on her official Instagram page. The post says, "Dear fellow compatriots, at a time when our courageous army is conducting a successful counteroffensive operation to liberate ancient Azerbaijani lands from Armenian occupation, the enemy does not stop showing its insidious intentions. During the whole week of fierce fighting, Armenia has been unscrupulously circulating fake news. The Armenian diaspora, which actively misinforms the international community, plays a special role in this violent attack. Today we are all witnesses of truly historic events. However, we cannot simply observe what is happening from the outside. Each of us is obliged to do our best to bring the moment of great victory closer. So we are all soldiers who are obliged to make every effort to expose the Armenian lies. I call on each of you to expose the fakes of the Armenian propaganda that conveys the truth about the Armenian aggression to the international community from all possible platforms. Everyone who considers themselves Azerbaijani and Azerbaijan its homeland must raise their voice and refute all of the lies of Armenians. May Almighty God protect our army and people and our motherland." The Ministry of Defense released video of the Talysh village liberated from the occupation. We present to you this footage. According to the Defense Ministry of Azerbaijan, our settlements were shelled. On October 5th, for this city of Fizili region, villages of Akçabadi region, Tartar city and villages of the region, Kerembo and Gögöy regions, Beylagan, Berde and Tartar cities were under the attack by the Armenian armed forces. The adequate action is being implemented towards the enemy. As Azerbaijani Defense Ministry reported, Azerbaijan's Ganja city comes under fire from the territory of the Berd region of Armenia. On the morning of October 5th, the technical means of the radar system of the Azerbaijani Air Defense Forces recorded the launch of a rocket fired at Azerbaijan from launching positions in the Jermuk, Gatan and Berd regions of Armenia. For several days, the enemy, pinned down along the entire front, has been systematically launching missile strikes from the territory of Armenia against the densely populated regions of Azerbaijan and civilian infrastructure on the territory of Azerbaijan. At the same time, the Armenian Defense Ministry denies the fact of shelling the territory of Azerbaijan from Armenia and states that it was fired from the occupied territories. Such responsible and criminal actions of Armenia purposefully force Azerbaijan to retaliate. The draft law naming Managis village of Tartar district of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Sugovushan, was discussed on the meeting of the Regional Issues Committee of Milli Meclis. It was noted that Sugovushan village used to belong to the administrative territory of Agdara region in Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Region. But in 1992, Ağdərə region was abolished and its territory was divided between neighboring Ağdam, Tərtər and Kəlbəcər regions. Suqovuşan village, which was also included a lot of monuments of different dates, was merged with Tərtər region. The village, which was liberated by the Azerbaijani army in 1991-1992, was reoccupied by Armenia in 1994 and renamed Madagiz. President İlham Aliyev restored the historical name of Madagiz, which was liberated from occupation by the Azerbaijani armed forces on October 3rd, and renamed it Suqovuşan. Following the discussions, the bill was recommended to the plenary session of the parliament. Azerbayjan Airlines released a statement regarding intensive shelling by Armenian armed forces. The statement reads as follows. Over the past few days, the Armenian armed forces have been intensively shelling the territory of Azerbaijan with long-range missiles, posing a serious threat to civil aircrafts operating international flights through the airspace of Azerbaijan. Attacks of Armenia against civilian targets are a gross violation of international humanitarian law, in particular the provisions of the Geneva Conventions. On October 5th, the International Military Cooperation Department of the Defense Ministry presented subsequent briefing for the foreign military attachés and representatives of the international organizations accredited to the Republic of Azerbaijan. The briefing participants were informed about the latest combat operations conducted in the occupied territories, the liberated settlements, and the damages inflicted to the enemy forces. Moreover, the guests were delivered detailed information on the deliberate missile and artillery attacks of the Armenian armed forces on the cities and regions of Azerbaijan, which are located far beyond the line of contact. The damage inflicted to the peaceful population and civilian facilities as a result of missile and artillery shelling by the enemy, as well as the fact-based inhuman treatment and behavior of the adversary army towards its military personnel, were highlighted. Armenia's artillery and rocket fire on civilians and settlements is a war crime. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu said at a joint press conference with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. Çavuşoğlu said that all international organizations, including NATO, should call for the withdrawal of Armenian troops from the occupied lands based on the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Azerbaijan. France 24 TV broadcast another story on military operations in Karabakh. This time, the news was dedicated to the shelling of the civilians in Ganja. Reporting from the house of a 72-year-old Ganja resident, the journalist said that the family woke up in the morning to the sound of a bomb. The correspondent further reports that the densely populated city of Ganja is located about 100 kilometers from the front line. The population does not understand the reason for the attack. The video says that one person was killed and many others were injured as a result of the rocket attack in Ganja. According to officials, Armenia wants to expand the area of the conflict by provoking Azerbaijan in this way. 97 cases of the novel coronavirus were recorded in Azerbaijan. 91 people recovered after treatment and were released home. 2 citizens who earlier tested positive for COVID-19 died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 40,788, with 38,587 recoveries and 598 deaths. The number of active infections is 1,600. To detect new infection cases, 1,104,194 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan so far, reported the task force under the Cabinet of Ministers. That was all for today. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.